Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, welcome to Two Beard Gaming. This is the Beard Room. I am Trevor, also known as Surreal Rager. This is going to be a spot where the top beards talk BS, banter, and talk about what's going on at twobeardgaming.com. Introducing our team with us here today. We have the man, the nan, the filthy banana.
Hey, hey, hey.
Yeast rises in the east, the bread roll. The fire that wouldn't light brush, the flamey.
I've been told not to speak. To speak.
Finally, the legend, the colonel without the chicken, Steph.
Yo.
A horizontal shmup from Mebius. This is a project that was taken over by another PR team, and they've been doing a fantastic job. Physicality Games. It's a very vibrant, awesome shmup that feels very arcadey. It's very difficult, but there's multiple difficulties, which makes it very approachable for all players. I'm really loving the game, and it really feels like a game that should be in a CAD. And when I say that, it also shows that it emulates that in screen, so you can check the beginning of the game where it shows the tutorial, shows like a joystick, shows buttons on screen, so it's already feeling like it should be in the arcades, and rightfully so, because it's a lovely game, and it speaks volumes for horizontal, my favorite horizontal shmup. So big shout out to Physicality Games for providing Two Beard Gaming with the code. That review is underway, and I'm loving the game, and I can already say I can recommend it. So that is the shmup that I'm talking about for my review. And moving on to another review, we're going to move over to the Filthy Banana, talking about his Bridge Constructor
Complete
review.
is the code that I got from the wonderful people over at Clockstone. And honestly, I decided to kind of talk about it in this format because I don't have a lot to say about it. There are a lot of games that are just by the numbers, pull out some assets, plop them down, and rinse repeat. And ultimately, that's what edition they've added all of the DLC content to it. So you get all the different packs. You start building hills. You deal with slopes. It's nothing special. Ultimately, it's nothing special. You press A, you move it to the left a little bit, you press A. I've drawn a straight line. Now I need to test if it's structurally sound. That's it. And you do that over and over and over again. There's no reward from it. And these are the same people that did Bridge Constructor Portal, where they got the license from Valve because they were impressed with what they were doing. So they gave them Portal license to play with, and they knocked it out of the park with that one. Okay, so if you can imagine,
that was an amazing game. That was.
Yeah, absolutely. It was mind bending. It was tricky, but ultimately you could have fun with it too. Even just destroying your vehicle, you could have a lot of fun. With this one, you really can't, because a plain gray sedan falls into a lake. That's all that happens. Whereas in the Portal version, you're firing it off walls, pinging it into lasers, or getting it shot at by laser turrets, dropping it in pools of acid and things. So, at the end of the day, it's not bad, but there's no real reason to pick it up either.
Yeah, it sounds that Bridge wasn't strong enough to hold a solid review.
No.
I think trains also need to move on bridges. So moving on to Railway Empire.
Railway Empire, it's developed by Gaming Mind Studios, came to Two Beard Gaming by Calypso Media Group. So big shout out to those guys. Thank you very much. It came out in 2018 originally. It's been on PC for a while. And anyone who's familiar with the Tycoon style game should be familiar with what to expect. Basically, it's set in the 1800s when the Americas were on the rise, and you get given a series of scenarios basically to create railway lines and connections between different states in America during different scenarios, from just establishing new settlements to travel during the Civil War, being able to transport resources back and forth. From a strategy PC game to the Nintendo Switch with handheld and big screen support and using console controls, I found it quite intuitive, and it's been pretty good fun for me.
We're going to Ben, aka the Flamey, for what he's reviewing. Ben?
So, at the moment, I am reviewing a game that is set to release on the 4th of June. I am embargoed, so I can't really speak about it too much in terms of dropping the name, but it's a retro sort of style 2D beat 'em up, side scrolling, very much what you would expect from that genre, really. And I have a really good quote from a good friend who also writes from the website. And it goes like this. Basically, after watching the trailer, which I forced him to watch, he was like, it looks like someone's basically shoved Streets of Rage, Final Fight, Street Fighter, Afterburner, and Outrun into a blender, and then just added in the whale from Sonic Adventure, and just hope for the best to see what comes out. Don't get me wrong, it's a good game, but it's nothing new. It's not going to break any sort of ground in terms of what it's offering.
Games. Moving on to the kernel. Steph, what are you currently reviewing?
Well, I'm about to download the new Shantae game, and big shout out to Emily Tidd at Way Forward, who provided us with the code. She's given us some great codes over the years. We've got a strong relationship with Way Forward, so that's really nice. You guys could probably help me out here because I've never played a Shantae game, but I know Shantae has a long affinity with Nintendo. I believe there was games on the Game Boy and what have you, so much so that the Smash community were plugging for her to be included in the Fighter Pass and stuff. So, and have you played Shantae before?
I reviewed one on the Xbox actually for the site.
Oh, good one.
Don't tell me. Don't ask me which one it was because
It was
they're all
one
very
before-
similar, aren't they? But
Yeah,
it's just an extension of each one.
News going on. We're going to move back to the bread roll for some news. Bread?
Thank you very much. Yeah, so a couple of things have been happening in the gaming world lately. First of all, let's talk about Moonlighter. 11-bit Studios, who are thrilled to announce that the world of Moonlighter will be enriched with fresh content, with huge expansion Between Dimensions, and it's now available on Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch for $6.99, which I imagine works out about the same for the Great British Pound. £6.99. Ho, ho, ho. And also, we'd like to just point out that Moonlighter has also sold over 1 million copies in less than 2 years on the market. Surreal, I know you tried your hand at Moonlighter and you were finding it a bit of a mixed bag, but personally, I quite liked it. What did you think?
Well, I really love the look of it. For some reason, the gameplay didn't stick with me, but I think I could go back now and really give it a good try because I just found out recently that the thumb pads that I'm using are kind of worn all the way down, so it always feels like if I try to play a twin stick game, I'm doing really badly because I can't control right, but I think I need to get some new thumb pads, and then I can definitely return to that and enjoy it very much.
Excuses, that's all I hear.
User error. That's all it is.
Right.
User error.
I swear, I'll bring my Switch out right now.
My thumbsticks.
Blaming his equipment.
I swear.
But for those of you who don't know, Moonlighter is actually, it's kind of 2 games in one. So basically, it's like a top-down dungeon crawler, but at the same time, it's kind of a life sim. So you start off as a young adventurer in a town, and you've got to run a shop, and the only way to find your items and produce to run your shop is by heading into a series of dungeons that get significantly harder as time goes on. But the deeper you get into each dungeon, the better the loot and the better the outcome. You can bring better stuff back to your shop, and you can haggle prices with your customers, bit of supply and demand, bit of wheeling and dealing. So I actually found that side of things more exciting than the dungeon crawling, but it's definitely worth checking out, especially now there's an expansion pack for it. Definitely one to keep an eye out for because it's very popular in the indie scene right now. Another thing I'd like to talk about is Space Startopia, whose beta started today. So publisher Calypso Media, who also provided us with Railway Empire, so thanks again, guys. And it's developed by Realm Forge Studios, have announced that the closed beta for Space Startopia on Windows PC is available today for anyone who has pre-purchased the title through Kickstarter. Basically, Starbase Startopia is a galactic new take on fan-favorite space-based management game set in space, funnily enough. The vibrant as an absurd universe offers an exciting blend of city building and base management with flash and RTS skirmishes. So this could be one to keep an eye out on. They are also streaming the beta on Twitch right now. So if you're into that sort of thing, I'd definitely recommend heading over.
But anything that is given and donated towards the website, just to confirm, it's actually really important to us. It's what helps us, pay for the hosting and keeps 2-Bit Gaming alive. So anything that's been donated and anything that will be donated is really appreciated.
And keeping up with Ben, he's got some questions for the team that none of us have heard. So hopefully this sticks to the script a bit, just kidding, and we'll have a bit of fun with it. So Ben, up to you.
Thank you. So following on from our promo that we just pushed out there, we had our group call. We decided that, we do this weekly, let's film it. So I've got a few questions, a few bits of feedback actually from the community.
Oh no.
So the first one actually was that it's a great idea. They really like the format, the quick cut approach that seemed to work. So that's really positive from what we've seen, because we literally threw it together as a test. Next point I've got here is actually for Trevor.
Oh no.
Can you get naked again?
No.
That was actually from me. I just wanted to add that in.
Call me afterwards.
All right, going back to the serious ones. So just a quick, what's your game that you always go back to? Obviously, that's kind of like a current thing because it changes from time to time. But quick round the table, I think for me, it's always Super Mario Brothers 3. It was the first, the NES was the first console that I owned myself. And Mario Brothers 3 knocked it out of the park for me. So we go to Steph, what is your game that you always go back to that you currently is like your favorite?
Oh God, it's probably Breath of the Wild. And I know Bread Rolls had a similar thing where like you haven't completed it yet, have you?
No, I haven't. No, but right at the end, I just don't want to finish it.
So I've done like probably 200 hours in it, but I just don't want to complete the final boss because I just still enjoying running around, killing shit and finding stuff.
I got to that. I was like about 120 hours in. I'm like, I could play this forever. I might complete it though. And then for me, I fought the last boss, and because I was quite powerful, it was just like, oh, all right, it's done. Whereas that first boss, my God, it took me like weeks to do it.
The first Lionel shit me up. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. You were like, what the fuck?
I could not be the Lionel. No way.
But that's why that game is so good. It's similar for everyone, but also it's a unique experience, the way you're playing it.
You literally gives each person their own journey to go on, doesn't it? I think that is just it's so hard to do in gaming, in any aspect really, but it is fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I recently read on Twitter someone said their take on that was the game was too big, and I thought that was, I don't know, a bit left field, and it was like hey, I am the 1% in this area, but that was the first Zelda game that actually got me in and made me as well a fan. So it's like I think all this explorability is fantastic.
I think that's why it's so good though. It's a big game, but actually, what is it? The 4 divine beasts and an end boss.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it. There is literally nothing to it. But you could spend your lifetime playing it and play a completely different game, see completely different stuff, and still not actually finish it.
And I just love the physics side of it. Like different people would do puzzles and enemies in different ways using the different abilities that you can find, and it's just such a game that you can just pick up. And like you say, everyone, the core gameplay is the same. It's like you say, you got to do the 4 divine beasts, kill Ganon, that's it. But your journey to get there can be so different, and it is such a lovely experience to play because it's just a great adventure. But it's just a world that you want to get sucked into.
True, like if you're gonna go for all the Korok seeds, for example, like I know people have done that, but I know plenty that haven't. But also, if you did, that's gonna be like a massive addition to your hours played. So,
yeah,
that's it. We've just got sidetracked, and we're now talking about Zelda.
It happens.
This is what happens. Anyway, let's
now
move on.
Let's go.
Yeah, right.
Bread Roll, your game that you currently playing that you always go back to. What's your favourite?
Oh man, I mean, I could probably pull about 3 out of the hat, but one game that I love to go back to, similar to Breath of the Wild, but it's the world and the music that I enjoy, and that's actually Oblivion, which is the one that came before Skyrim. I always preferred Oblivion, mainly because it has Sean Bean and Patrick Stewart in it, and what's not to like about that. So, but yeah, I can always go back to Oblivion and chill out, but other than that, it would probably have to be either Snake Eater or Devil May Cry 3. Either of those two are just games I'll always come back to. I've played countless times. I'm crap at them both, but I love them both. So
awesome. And then let's go to Nam.
Right now, it's Kingdom New Lands. I just can't stop playing that game. Okay, well, see, there you go. Maybe I'll have to do something with it, right? I'll do a Banana Plays. At its core, it's a survival game. You're shipwrecked monarch anytime you die, the crown just passes on. But you're shipwrecked. You have to, with what little people that are on that island, you have to find some gold. You have to pay them. They come in. You pay archers, builders, and you have to build up a civilization, rebuild your ship, and move on to the next islands. And while you're doing that, you're fighting off these beasts, these demons that come out at night and attack you, tear up your city, take the people away from you. You've got to manage your resources as far as growing crops to harvest, to sell, and things like that. It's really simple, and it sounds boring as hell, but it's one of those games that I pick it up. I intend to just kill 15 minutes while I'm waiting for my daughter to finish something, and then it's 3 hours later, and I'm telling her good night. So that's what I go back to.
Format's it on?
What was
What
that?
format are you playing on?
I'm playing it on the Switch, and there is a sequel called Two Crowns, and I did just see a tweet recently that there is a third one on the way.
Is it called Three Crowns?
Ha! No, it is not.
Miss
Oh
Sweet.
man,
Mr. Trick.
True.
I'm out. And then okay, finally, Trev, what is your game that you're currently playing, or what you always go back to? What is that game?
Well, between reviews, and I've got 2 on the go right now, but prior to these 2, and I think 3 others, the game I went back to was Raiden V, or the 5th installment of Raiden, which is a horizontal shmup that I love. I put 125 hours into it, possibly more at this point, but I love that game. I love the Raiden series. It's fast, it's arcadey. It feels amazing. I gave that a 9 out of 10. That's my highest rated shmup, and I stick by it. It's got some flaws as far as like the visuals go. It's one of those where it's like the sidebars are right here, where this has a bunch of information, and the
Yeah.
screen's a little bit smaller than it could be, but it's still got perfection nonetheless. And I love that game, and I will not stop recommending it to people. And that's the one that I seem to be coming back to because I've got plenty of other shmups. As Lord Shmup, I've got plenty. Currently reviewing 2 shmups as we speak, but that's the one I keep coming back to. I love it. It's loud, it's vibrant, it's fun, and it's got 2 players. So if you have a second player, you can play 2 people, and I just love that game more than so many others. So that's the one I keep coming back to.
Okay, I guess picking up on that, I saw a tweet earlier. Is it true that you've never actually completed a shmup?
Oh, heck no. I don't know who said that, but you can
Me.
in the arcade and we can go head to head. Lord Shmup is not the best, but he's also not the worst. And this concludes me speaking in the third person.
Right, final question actually that I've been sent in is for Steph. Please, can you stop using my likeness, you fuck? Love, Jack Black.
Jablinski Games is upset.
He's got a lot more hair than me.
Yeah, that's true.
Up top.
You know you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore, right?
Yeah, and I live by that.
I think he ripped off you.
Definitely.
Back over to Trev. What have we got? What are we finishing up with?
I think that's what we finished up with. Well, the final note is Two Beard Gaming is all about friends, folks, games, and you don't have to have a beard, obviously. But Two
It
Beard
helps.
have a story, and one day Ben is going to release that story, why we're called Two Beard Gaming, okay? But
And-
this is the Beard Room. We are Two Beard Gaming, and thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Cheers, guys.